Hello, Drew here, and time for a continuation of Charles Kettering's radio programs on short stories of science and invention. And today's program is Research is a State of Mind, sponsored by nobody. Every time I've had the good fortune of being in the studio audience at Radio City, I'm impressed with the fact that it takes much less energy to listen to music than to direct or play it. So, while the maestro and the orchestra rest for a moment, I'll tell you of a simple comparison between music and research that we have used many times. This afternoon, we are listening to the compositions of Mozart. He was one of those rare and talented individuals who had the natural gifts of both composition and execution. He was a child prodigy. This type of individual is rare, but each generation may produce one or more. They occur not only in the musical field, but also in art, medicine, and science, and their contributions are of great importance. Most of our work, however, must be done by people with just ordinary abilities in the beginning who reach positions of skill or responsibility by practice, study, and plain persistence. Now, I don't know the individual histories of the men in this orchestra, but I suspect the majority of them are here as a result of arduous practice and much hard work, and in many cases, sacrifices of many kinds. This symphony orchestra is a body of men who, in order to perform superbly as a group, must first be able to perform equally well as individuals. Just organizing a group of poor musicians doesn't make a good orchestra. Research is done in much the same way. Our work can either be the effort of a group or individual specialists. In fact, just like a good orchestra, each man must be a skilled and talented individual. There's one outstanding difference when we compare orchestras with research. Research has no Mozart score to follow. We are working with unwritten scores. The procedure must be different in nearly every case. It's more like a composition and performance at the same time. For many years, there has been much misunderstanding as to just what research is. The popular conception seems to be that there is something mysterious about it. And before any research can be done, it's necessary to have expensive scientific apparatus and large, elaborately equipped buildings. Actually, that is not so. Research isn't a physical thing at all, but just a state of mind. It's just a simple, organized way of trying to accomplish something you wish to do. So simple that anyone can do research anywhere at any time. First, you select the problem you would like to solve. Then you list at least 10 reasons why this has not been solved. But in picking that problem, be sure to analyze it carefully to see that it is worth the effort. It takes just as much effort to solve a useless problem as a useful one. Make sure the game is worth the candle. After carefully, and I want to emphasize that word carefully, selecting the problem and the 10 things between you and the solution, you then use the same procedure as in solving a crossword puzzle. You take the easy obstacles first, and by a process of elimination, you arrive at last at the one or two major ones. In the solution of the remaining obstacles, you may need some simple apparatus, but the things you will probably need most are infinite patience and persistence. Few people realize the difficulties of doing any new thing. Maybe one of the reasons people are so easily discouraged is because of their education. During all of our years at school, we were examined 2 or 3 times a year. If we failed once, we were out. In contrast, all research work is 99.9% failure. And if you succeed once, you are in. If we're going to progress in any line, we must learn to fail intelligently, so we won't become discouraged at the 99.9% failure. As we approach the end of the war and make plans to go back to our normal way of lives, we are going to be faced with unlimited problems. I'm talking about research today because it is just a method of intelligent planning. You probably know some 400 or 500 post-war planning groups have been organized to take care of some of these problems for us. That's a step in the right direction, but I don't believe that's enough. We ought to have 135 million planners. Each individual in this country should be doing his or her planning, should be forming a one-man or woman research project. We should not be looking outside for this help. We should be doing it for ourselves as individuals. But as we face tomorrow, let us pick our problems very carefully and separate clearly in our minds the great difference between constructive post-war planning and very unproductive post-war wishing. Okay, that was Mr. Charles Kettering on research is a state of mind. And it's true. Alright, thanks. See you later and see you next time, and keep learning.